A sharply critical video from the progressive media network Midas Touch has reignited intense public debate over President Donald Trump's physical and cognitive health, coming at a pivotal moment as the United States remains deeply engaged in a widening military conflict with Iran that began with surprise strikes on February 28th. The roughly 13-minute segment, posted Thursday and hosted by Midas Touch co-founder Ben Meiselas, compiles recent public appearances, news headlines, and clips from the Oval Office to argue that the 79-year-old president is showing rapid signs of decline that could impair his leadership during wartime. While the presentation is overtly partisan and draws on long-standing speculation about Trump's fitness that dates back to his first term, several of the specific incidents it highlights, including an awkward reference to Pearl Harbor during a meeting with Japan's Prime Minister and visible skin issues, align with footage and reporting from mainstream outlets in recent days. Meiselas opens the video by declaring that it is not looking good for Donald Trump, describing his physical and cognitive health as rapidly deteriorating and claiming his body is physically decomposing while his mind has already decomposed. The host focuses heavily on Trump's bilateral meeting the previous day, March 19th, with Japanese Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi in the Oval Office. In video clips played during the segment, Trump defends the secrecy surrounding the initial U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran by invoking the concept of surprise attacks. Turning to Takaichi, he says, "We went in very hard and we didn't tell anybody about it, because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor?" The remark, which drew visible discomfort from the Japanese leader and prompted awkward laughter in the room, has been widely reported as an uncomfortable diplomatic moment, given the historical sensitivity of Japan's 1941 attack on the U.S. naval base. Meiselas uses the exchange to question Trump's judgment and mental sharpness, zooming in on what he describes as discolored hands and unsteady movement. He contrasts this with footage from an earlier visit to Japan months prior, suggesting Takaichi had to assist Trump physically. The White House has not directly addressed the walking claims in recent statements, but broader scrutiny of Trump's gait has surfaced periodically in past public appearances without leading to any official medical confirmation of impairment. The video also highlights a neck rash visible in recent photos, which the president's physician, Dr. Sean Barbabella, attributed earlier this month to a common preventative skin cream prescribed for 1 week, with redness expected to persist for several weeks. "The redness is expected to last for a few weeks," Barbabella stated, pushing back against online speculation that the mark indicated something more serious. Similar explanations have been offered for occasional bruising on Trump's hands, which aides have chalked up to frequent handshaking and daily activities. The Midas Touch piece ties these observations directly to the ongoing war with Iran, now in its third week. Trump has repeatedly claimed significant victories, telling reporters that Iran's Navy, Air Force, anti-aircraft systems, and leadership have been obliterated, with new leaders reportedly gone multiple times over. "We've obliterated just about everything there is to obliterate," he said in clips featured in the video, adding that U.S. forces are flying wherever we want with nobody even shooting at us. Yet independent reporting and Iranian state media paint a more contested picture. Iranian forces have launched retaliatory strikes on energy facilities in Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Haifa in Israel, while releasing footage of air defenses engaging U.S. and Israeli aircraft, including claims of hits on F-35 jets. Oil prices have spiked amid disruptions to the Strait of Hormuz, and the Pentagon has acknowledged casualties among U.S. service members. The conflict, which began with airstrikes that killed Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei, has drawn criticism from some Democrats who argue the administration's messaging has been inconsistent. Meiselas plays a clip in which Trump appears to exaggerate stock market gains, stating the Dow Jones Industrial Average just did $50,000 a couple of weeks ago, and that the S&P 500 hit $7,000, milestones the president attributes to his policies. The Dow did cross the 50,000 threshold in early February, a record Trump has celebrated in statements crediting tariffs and economic measures. However, precise levels fluctuated in subsequent weeks, and critics in the video used the remark to suggest confusion or embellishment. Additional gaffes cataloged include Trump's recent St. Patrick's Day remarks on March 17th, where he referred to Ireland's female president Catherine Connolly using male pronouns during a White House meeting with Irish Prime Minister Michael Martin. "Look, he's lucky I exist," Trump said in response to a statement from Connolly, an error that drew immediate online attention and comparisons to other pronoun mix-ups with foreign leaders. Separately, Trump reportedly misstated his father Fred Trump's birthplace as Germany during Iran-related questioning, though Fred Trump was born in the Bronx, New York, a detail that has fueled fresh speculation given that Fred suffered from dementia in his later years. The video amplifies voices from across the political spectrum calling attention to these issues. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, a Democrat and frequent Trump critic, appears in a CNN clip, referenced from recent appearances, stating he believes Trump exhibits signs of dementia, citing inconsistent statements on policy matters including the war, tariffs, and domestic costs. "There's something wrong with him," Pritzker said. "I think he's got some dementia." Pritzker has made similar observations in past interviews dating back to 2025 regarding Trump's decision-making. Grammy-winning artist Maren Morris posted a pointed video earlier in March telling Trump supporters, "I don't have forgiveness for triple Trumpers or any of the Trumpers. You did vote for this. He is a dementia-ridden, diaper-clad cornball ex-TV host, bankrupt to fuckcracy." Morris's remarks, which went viral, reflect a broader cultural pushback from some entertainers who have grown more vocal about the president's age and fitness. Headlines cited in the Midas Touch segment echo the theme, "Dementia Dawn strikes again," from one outlet referencing the Ireland gaffe, and Trump's embarrassing mix-up about his father's birthplace sparks dementia speculation, from Radar Online. Above the Law and International Business Times ran pieces on Trump's social media activity and alleged meltdowns regarding the Supreme Court and rule of law. Macelis also notes Trump's Truth Social posts, including one referencing the Epstein files and another declaring, "They threw everything they had at Donald Trump. He's still standing." The host contrasts this with what he calls the administration's internal focus on winning the meme war, quoting unnamed sources involved in White House communications. The White House has pushed back firmly against the health narrative. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt and others have described visible marks as routine or cosmetic, while emphasizing Trump's active schedule and claiming his energy remains high. No formal cognitive evaluation has been released beyond standard presidential physicals, and Trump himself has dismissed speculation as fake news in past statements, insisting his health is perfect. Medical experts not affiliated with the administration caution that remote diagnoses are impossible and unethical, noting that visible signs of aging, including at 79, the oldest age at which Trump assumed office, do not equate to incapacity. Some neurologists have publicly discussed general risks of cognitive decline in high-stress roles for individuals in their late 70s, referencing historical precedents like President Woodrow Wilson's stroke or Ronald Reagan's later Alzheimer's diagnosis, which was not disclosed until after his presidency. However, no such condition has been confirmed for Trump, and his physicians maintain he remains fit for duty. The timing of the Midas Touch video coincides with heightened stakes in the Iran conflict. The operation, dubbed by some as Epic Fury, involved coordinated U.S.-Israeli strikes aimed at dismantling Iran's nuclear program, missile capabilities, and naval forces, while eliminating key leadership figures. Trump has framed the campaign as a necessary preemptive action to prevent an Iranian attack, projecting timelines of 4 to 5 weeks, but leaving open the possibility of extension. Allies have been pressed for support in securing shipping lanes, with Trump criticizing NATO and others for delayed assistance on aircraft carriers and naval assets. Japan, under Takaichi, the country's first female prime minister, has been urged to play a larger role, a request complicated by the Pearl Harbor reference that some analysts say strained the optics of the alliance despite underlying strategic alignment. Economically, the war has introduced volatility. Energy facilities in the Gulf have faced attacks, prompting U.S. offers of insurance for Gulf shipping and escorts for tankers. Markets initially reacted with spikes in oil prices, though the Dow's earlier record provided some counter-narrative that Trump continues to highlight. Domestically, the administration faces questions over transparency regarding casualties. 6 U.S. service members confirmed killed early in the campaign, and the long-term costs, with the Pentagon reportedly seeking additional funding. Public opinion polls conducted in the first 2 weeks showed divided views. A majority of Republicans supporting the strikes as decisive, while Democrats and independents expressed concerns over escalation and the president's messaging consistency. Macelas concludes his video by inviting viewers to judge the evidence themselves and urging subscriptions while promoting merchandise. The segment has quickly amassed views across platforms, amplifying calls from some progressive figures for greater scrutiny of the 25th Amendment or enhanced medical disclosures. Republican allies, meanwhile, have dismissed the coverage as partisan opportunism, pointing to Trump's continued rally-style appearances and policy announcements as proof of vigor. The man is delivering results in the face of global threats, one senior GOP strategist told reporters, declining to engage on health matters. This latest wave of speculation builds on years of scrutiny. During Trump's first term, questions arose over his diet, weight, and verbal slips, though annual physicals consistently described him as in good health for his age. In the current term, visible changes, hand makeup to cover bruises, leg swelling reports, and occasional drowsiness in meetings, have kept the conversation alive. Trump's family history, including his father's Alzheimer's, adds a personal layer for some observers, though genetics alone do not predict outcomes. Cognitive testing, such as the Montreal Cognitive Assessment Trump passed in 2018, has not been repeated publicly in recent years. Broader institutional questions emerge. Presidential health has long been a sensitive topic, with protocols for disclosure varying by administration. The American Medical Association and ethicists emphasize that only qualified physicians with direct access can assess capacity, and political opponents should not diagnose from afar. Still, in an era of 24-hour video and social media, moments like the Takaichi meeting or the Ireland pronoun slip become magnified. Analysts note that stress from wartime decision-making, coordinating with Israel, managing alliances, and navigating domestic politics, could exacerbate normal aging processes for any leader. As the Iran campaign enters a potentially prolonged phase, with Iranian officials vowing a long war and regional actors like the Houthis signaling readiness to intervene, the focus on Trump's fitness carries operational weight. Decisions on escalation, troop deployments, or diplomatic off-ramps require sustained clarity. The administration insists all systems are functioning normally, with vice president and cabinet members fully briefed. Democrats in Congress have called for independent medical briefings, while some Republicans counter that such demands distract from supporting troops. Public reaction on social media has been polarized. Supporters share clips of Trump at recent events, arguing the deep state and media amplify minor issues to undermine him. Critics, including the Midas Touch audience, point to the cumulative pattern. The Pearl Harbor joke, market overstatements, birthplace confusion, and physical markers as evidence of decline. Independent fact-checkers have verified the core incidents but stopped short of endorsing medical conclusions. Looking ahead, the coming weeks will test not only the military strategy in the Middle East, but also the resilience of American institutions in handling questions of executive capacity. Trump has scheduled further briefings on the war and economic impacts, providing opportunities to address concerns directly. For now, the Midas Touch video serves as a flashpoint, crystallizing debates that have simmered beneath the surface since the 2024 campaign. Whether the speculation fades or intensifies depends on future appearances, official disclosures, and the trajectory of the conflict itself. The president, through spokespeople, continues to project confidence, telling associates the criticism is the same old witch hunt. Yet with oil prices volatile, allies watching closely, and troops in harm's way, the stakes extend far beyond partisan media skirmishes. As one longtime Washington observer put it, age is not a disqualifier, but transparency about fitness in wartime never goes out of style. The conversation, once relegated to whispers, now plays out in viral videos and cable news loops, forcing a nation at war to confront the very human limits of its leader.